After 8 years of growing up together, my girlfriend looked me right in the face and flat out lied, hiding the fact that she and a mutual friend were waiting for the perfect time to sleep together and turn my entire life into a humiliating joke. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Get your favorite snack and get comfy, because this is a heavy post from the r/relationship_advice subreddit. The original post is by a user called throwaway and numbers. Before we dive into the full post, the follower suggestions, and my thoughts, please smash that like button. Also, tell me in the comments where you're watching from and what your favorite hobby is. Alright, let's get right into the post. Original poster's post. 27M, leaving 25F. This guy, who we'll call OP, original poster, is 27. He's leaving his girlfriend, who is 25, because she was trying to cheat on him. He says that even typing those words out feels completely insane. This whole thing is incredibly tough for him because they had been together for almost 8 years. He points out that they didn't just date for a little while. They literally grew up together. They started dating when they were practically kids, survived their messy late teens, figured out their early 20s side by side, and built an entire life together. Because of this long history, the whole situation is super complicated, but it all comes down to one single, terrible night. OP did the one thing that everyone in a long-term relationship is scared to do. He had this awful gut feeling he couldn't shake, so he looked through her phone. What he found made his heart sink. He saw tons of messages from a mutual friend, a guy who lives out of state, that were seriously messed up. The vibe, how often they were messaging, and just the sheer disrespect of it all was overwhelming. Initially, sitting there in the dark reading those texts, OP was ready to pack a bag and walk out right then and there, but their history kept him from leaving immediately. He wanted to talk to her. He wanted to look the person he loved for 8 years in the eye and see if she had any honesty left. So he decided to give her almost 3 separate chances to just admit what she was doing. The first time, he was vague. He casually asked if there was someone else, or if something was distracting her. She looked him right in the face and flat out lied. He thought he was prepared for her to deny it, but hearing her lie hurt way more than he ever expected. The next times he brought it up, he got more and more specific, practically laying the truth out for her. Finally, the pressure got to her, and she admitted that the guy had been messaging her and flirting. Her excuse? It was total garbage. She claimed they both knew the guy was just like that, and while she admitted she didn't exactly tell him to stop, she insisted she wasn't actually into it. When OP first looked at her phone, he didn't see messages from her showing she was fully involved. So even though his gut screamed not to believe her, he desperately tried to give her a chance. He knows it sounds stupid, but when you've been with someone for almost a decade and your entire world revolves around them, you look for any reason to stay. You don't want to throw everything away. But the doubt came back, and he couldn't sleep. So he dug through her phone again. And there it was. Everything. The awful truth, hidden right in her pocket. Honestly, OP says the worst part wasn't even the flirting or the pictures. It was the fact that she actually took the time to insult him to the other guy. She tore him down to build a connection with another man. That hurt him so incredibly much. It was a deep, burning pain in his chest he couldn't shake. He knows he has flaws, and he knows there were things he could have worked on. But he really tried every single day to be a good boyfriend. But for her to share private things about him, to use his flaws as a joke with another guy, he felt completely broken. As he was typing this post on Reddit, he was just sitting in their quiet apartment, waiting for her to wake up and leave for work. The silence was driving him crazy. Once she walked out the door, he planned to pack whatever he could fit in his car and drive to a friend's place. He didn't know what to feel. He had spent 8 years of his youth on this relationship, and he was about to walk away from everything. He had written a long, emotional note on his phone that he planned to write on paper for her after she left. He obsessed over every single word. He was going to tell her exactly how badly she messed this up, and that if she ever thought they could be okay again in the future, she needed to know she ruined it forever. He was scared and completely lost. A big part of him didn't want to do this and just wanted his normal life back. But he knew he had to leave. He ultimately knew it would get better eventually. But right now, it hurt too much. The updates. Update, 7:30 a.m. She woke up and was getting ready for work. The tension in the air was so thick you could cut it with a knife. She even tried to kiss him and apologized for tossing and turning, saying she knew it kept him awake, acting like everything was normal. OP felt sick just looking at her. He was getting a lot of comments pushing back against him, leaving a long, emotional letter. He said when she leaves, he's going to start packing and think about the letter again. But he added that drafting the long version felt really good. It helped him organize his feelings and convince himself that he absolutely had to leave. Update, 8:30 a.m. She just left for work. The door shut, and it finally hit him. This was really happening. He was going to jump in the shower and just have a hard, ugly cry. Then he had to pack his life into bags. People in the comments were telling him to ghost her, or just leave a short, sharp note instead of the long one. He planned to think about that while he showered. Right before she walked out, she kept saying, "I love you." He really didn't want to say it back. She said it 3 times, and he just kind of mumbled it out once so she would finally leave. He was 100% sure she would text him, asking why he was acting weird once she got to work. He decided not to respond while she was at work. She wouldn't be home until around 8 p.m. Update, 8:54 a.m. He was packing now, throwing clothes into bags and trying to figure out what was his and what was hers. The cats seemed to know something was wrong because they wouldn't leave him alone, rubbing against his legs and meowing. This part was breaking his heart because he loves his cats. He reread his draft note a few times while packing and decided to take the commenter's advice. He was leaving a short note, simply stating that he knew the truth and was gone. Something like, "I left. I know all about you and him. I saw the messages. I am so utterly disappointed in you. I won't be answering my phone, and I do not want you to contact me. At some point, we'll get together to discuss the logistics of the apartment." He felt that was much better, less drama. He was also reading everyone's comments while he packed. He apologized if he didn't reply to everyone because his head was spinning. To the people who commented about going through similar cheating situations, he said he was incredibly sorry they had to feel this pain too, and he hoped knowing they weren't alone helped a bit. Update, 9:25 a.m. He was pretty much packed with what he could physically carry right now. Obviously, the furniture and big stuff would have to wait. He was writing the short note, putting it on the counter, and then leaving. He really needed to find some food after dropping off his bags because his stomach was empty but tied in knots. Update, 10:42 a.m. He made it. He was officially at his friend's place. She was showing him around and letting him crash in her spare room. People had been asking about the cats. He said taking them wasn't an option right now because his friend already had 3 cats and a dog. Plus, his cats are super spoiled and hate anyone who isn't him or his ex. He wasn't worried his ex would hurt them. If anything, she'd want them around to cuddle when she read the note and got upset. He admitted she didn't deserve comfort right now, but it is what it is. Someone asked about his job and money. He works in equine care, basically taking care of horses. He loves his job and being around the animals. He figures once he goes back to work in a few days, it will be an amazing distraction. He planned to go get some fast food and maybe walk around downtown to clear his head. His friend reminded him she was going out of town next week for a whole week. so he would have her entire place to himself. He wasn't sure if being totally alone was a good or bad thing right now, but at least he could watch her pets while she was gone. He knew he had a ton of stuff to figure out, but he had just left, and he needed a minute to breathe. Update, 2:15 p.m. This was his last update for the day. He saw more questions in the comments. First, the friend he was staying with is just a friend. Zero romance. He joked that a guy and a girl can just be normal friends. Some people had commented that he was no better than his ex for invading her privacy by snooping, and that being together for 8 years without proposing was a huge red flag. He said, maybe they were right. Clearly, the relationship was failing. Look where they ended up. Whether it was his fault, her fault, or both. This was the nightmare situation he was in. Speaking of the situation, a lot of people asked exactly what was in those text messages. He realized he kept it vague earlier because it made him sick to type it out. He came clean. As far as he knows, she hadn't physically slept with the guy yet. It started as flirty stuff, calling each other hot, sexy, etc. There were some pictures, but no nudes. But the most recent messages, the ones that completely broke him, were about them wanting to sleep with each other, straight up. And here's the absolute worst part. The kicker, as he called it. The guy apparently had a weird fantasy and wanted to make a cuck out of OP. His girlfriend seemed totally down for it. They wanted to have sex, and specifically make sure OP found out about it, so he would be humiliated. That's why OP thinks they hadn't done it yet. They were waiting for the perfect time to ruin his life. Regarding going through her phone, he knows it was dumb and toxic. He doesn't recommend it, but it was the only way he found out about the sick game they were playing. He just had an overwhelming feeling that something was wrong. Would he tell the next guy to check his girlfriend's phone? Probably not, because if you find something, it will destroy your world. And if you don't find anything, you just destroyed your partner's trust for no reason. Update. A few days later. They finally had their final talk. OP went back to the apartment to get more stuff and face her. When he walked in, she actually tried to crack a couple of jokes, acting like things could go back to normal. He shut that down immediately. He told her he loved her, and had loved her for nearly 8 years. But he told her straight up that this was something he could never forget and would never forgive her for. He told her he knew every single thing they said to each other. He told her it disgusted him, broke his heart, and that she chose to do this. She immediately started crying and told him that none of it had to do with him. She said it wasn't his fault. It was her own massive mistake. She claimed she had been feeling unhappy and stuck in life for a while. Then this guy started giving her attention, and it distracted her from her own boring life. But then it went too far, and she didn't know how to stop. She swore she didn't actually mean any of the things she texted him. She said she only typed it because it was a game to her. OP stopped her right there. He told her it wasn't a game to him. He told her she still made the choice to type those words, and she can never take that back. She kept crying, saying she never meant to hurt him. She said the hardest part for her was knowing that he treated her better than anyone else ever will. She admitted he put up with so much of her crap and treated her better than she deserved. He had a list of bullet points on his phone so he wouldn't let his emotions take over. Funnily enough, she kept checking her phone too because she had made her own list of apologies. She said she knows the guy is a total scumbag and treats women terribly, and she hasn't spoken to him since OP left. Before OP walked out, he told her something kind of aggressive, but he meant it. If he ever ran into that guy in public, he would beat the absolute crap out of him. She nodded and said she understood. She apologized a million times. And honestly, OP believes she is truly sorry, but the relationship is 100% over. His big takeaway is that he finally feels like he can let go of the anger and start a totally new chapter. He has a chance to move into a new place with a coworker soon. It will be the first time in a very long time that he is completely single and financially independent. It's scary, but he's ready to figure out who he actually is outside of this relationship. Final update. Sorry for the radio silence, guys. The stress of this breakup literally made him sick. He had to go to the doctor because he was pretty sure he developed a stomach ulcer from all the anxiety. It has been brutal. But other than that, he is officially moving into his new place next week. He still texts his ex sometimes about apartment bills and checking on the cats. They aren't friends, but they are being civil about it. They even grabbed lunch a couple of weeks ago to sign some papers, and she opened up a bit. She has a lot of growing up to do. She confirmed she isn't talking to that guy anymore and just wants to go to therapy and fix herself. Aside from being sick, OP has just been hanging out with his friends and having fun. He tried to go to a small concert recently, but his stomach hurt so bad he almost threw up. But honestly, overall, life is okay. He has good things happening. He's focusing on his budget, buying stuff for his new room, and planning out his life. He gets 2 paid vacations from work this year, and he's just taking it one day at a time. What the community said. Let's look at some of the best advice OP got during this crazy time. User 6. Civil 8 came in with strong advice. Be strong and stay angry. Just break it off as fast and as clean as you can. No contact unless absolutely required. Good luck. You are saving your future today. OP actually replied to this saying, "That's included in the note. I will not be answering my phone indefinitely. I've been debating straight blocking her number, but I don't know yet." Another user dropped some really deep wisdom. You know that's the right thing for you, and I admire your bravery to make that painful cut. When we leave a bad relationship, we instinctively know that what's waiting for us isn't some instant paradise. What's waiting for us is utter chaos and sadness and pain. So it's no wonder you're afraid. But chaos and pain are the exact paths you need to take in order to have a chance at something better. Hopefully, you'll come out the other end stronger and wiser. Finally, a deleted account pointed out a huge positive. If you're 27 and have been in a relationship for 8 years, that means this will be the first time you will be single while having your own adult money and independence. This whole ordeal might be rough at first, but if you play your cards right, this might turn into a very freeing and exciting phase of your life. Wish you the best. My thoughts, man. What an incredibly heavy post. Honestly, right from the start, it doesn't sound like OP needed our advice. He knew his worth the exact second he read those messages. When you spend 8 years with someone, basically your entire young adult life, it is so easy to fall into what's called the sunk cost fallacy. That's when you think, I've already put so much time and effort into this. I can't quit now. So many people would just stay. They wouldn't have the mental strength to pack a bag, walk out the door, and face the scary reality of being single again. People will ignore massive red flags just to avoid being lonely. But we all know a relationship can never, ever survive this kind of toxic betrayal. What makes the specific cheating post so incredibly messed up is the humiliation aspect. It wasn't just a random mistake after too many drinks at a bar. She was actively plotting with this other guy to make a fool out of OP. To entertain a guy who literally wants to turn your loving boyfriend of 8 years into a punchline is just evil. When your partner uses your insecurities as a joke to flirt with someone else, there is absolutely no coming back from that. The trust is completely and irreversibly dead. It takes massive courage to do what OP did. And the fact that the stress of finding out gave him a literal stomach ulcer just proves how much mental health affects your physical body. Heartbreak is a real physical pain. I have so much respect for how he handled that final conversation, bringing a list of bullet points and not letting her crying manipulate him into staying. Major props to OP for finding his self-respect and walking away toward a much better, happier life. What do you guys think about this whole situation? Drop your thoughts and comments below.